There are people who step into your life in ways that have no clear ending, not because they are more extraordinary than anyone else, but because they arrive at exactly the moment you are not on guard, when the door is left open, when the mind is tired, when the heart hasn't yet decided what it wants. I met Kai on a rainy afternoon. Nothing about that afternoon was special. No sign. No sense of fate like people write about in books. Just a stranger at the next table with a smile that appeared and disappeared before it could settle, and I couldn't understand why I even noticed. I didn't know then that I was looking at the ending before I had any chance to understand the beginning. Didn't know that the story I was about to walk into had already been written for someone else. And I was only a brief passage that had wandered in. People call that being the third party. I call it loving truly, in a story that had no room for me. I wake up at 7, make coffee, open the laptop, look at the blueprint I left unfinished from the night before, the screen still glowing because I fell asleep without turning it off, the only thing still awake in the room long after I wasn't. Outside the window, the street is still wrapped in morning mist. The sound of traffic begins to rise from somewhere distant. Nothing is wrong, nothing is missing, just fine. The kind of fine where, by evening, when you lie down and stare at the ceiling, you realize you've lived through an entire day without remembering a single specific detail. Every day like that, every week. And the strange thing is, it doesn't feel alarming, it just feels familiar. So familiar it becomes invisible. I drink my coffee, start working fine. My manager assigns me to the old building restoration project in District 1, the kind of project architecture students dream about. Buildings with history, with soul, that need someone who understands them well enough not to destroy them. My colleagues congratulate me. I smile at the right moment, say the right things, accept the draft plans, and nod with exactly the right amount of enthusiasm. That afternoon, sitting alone with the blueprints, I understand why this project is beautiful. Genuinely understand it, not just professionally. But I sit staring at it for a long time and don't feel that aliveness I used to feel as a student, when a single sketch could keep me up all night without tiring. When did I start doing good work without feeling anything? I ask myself that, then stop asking. Turn back to the desk, keep going. Alex asks me that same question again. I've stopped counting how many times. Are you into anyone right now? No, you sure? I keep drinking. He doesn't push. We talk about nothing in particular, a new film, a new restaurant, someone we both know spotted somewhere. Late that night, I walk home alone, choosing to walk even though home is far, because the streets are quieter at this hour and I'm not ready to go back, though I can't explain to myself exactly why. I don't know what I'm waiting for, maybe nothing at all. Maybe that's exactly the problem, not the absence of a specific person, but the vague feeling that the life I'm living isn't its complete version yet. Missing something with no name. I sit waiting for Alex with my laptop open and earphones in but no music playing. I need that appearance of being busy, so sitting alone in a cafe doesn't look like it feels. Heavy rain since 3 in the afternoon. The door opens. Someone steps in, wet, no umbrella, orders something and sits down at the table beside mine. I don't look up. Just hear the scrape of a chair, rain hitting the awning, the sound of a camera being set on the table, then a soft laugh. Brief, natural. The kind of laugh that happens when you see something funny and have no one to share it with. I look up without meaning to. The man at the next table is looking at his phone. He just laughed, and now the smile is gone, extinguished as quickly as a candle in the wind. He turns off the screen, sets the phone down, looks out the window, rain still hitting the glass. I look for exactly 1 second, then look back at my blueprints, just a stranger in a cafe on a rainy afternoon. Nothing happened, nothing worth remembering. Alex arrives 20 minutes late, apologizing over and over, pulling out a chair and launching into a story before he's even fully seated. That's how he is, always with something to say before he's caught his breath. I listen. Respond at the right places, laugh at the right moments. Near the end, Alex asks, "Was it boring waiting alone?" "No, I was working." "Did you get anything done?" I pause. "Not much." He doesn't ask further. When we leave, I glance at the table beside ours, empty. A half-drunk coffee still sitting there, not yet cleared. The chair pushed out at an angle, the angle of someone who stood up in a hurry. I don't know what I'm looking at. I step outside. The rain has stopped. The smell of wet earth on the pavement, the kind of smell you only notice when you stand still long enough. I don't usually come into this bookshop, just pass by sometimes, browse for a moment, flip through a few books and leave without buying anything because I never know what I need. That day, I'm standing at the architecture shelf when I hear someone at the register. Not hear the voice, hear the manner of speaking. Gentle, like someone who doesn't want to disturb the air of a place like this. I turn around, the man from the table next to mine at the cafe last week, paying for a street photography book and a thin collection of poetry. He looks up and meets my eyes directly, recognizes me first, smiles first, the smile of someone who didn't expect this but isn't troubled by the unexpectedness of it, easy and needing no reason. I stand still for a second, then I smile too. I don't know why I smile too. Neither of us suggests going anywhere. We reach the door and stop. Neither of us leaves first. Neither of us proposes continuing. We just both slow down the way people only do when they don't want a meeting to end. The sky has cleared. The pavement is busy. There's no reason to stand here. Do you come here often? He asks first. Sometimes. You, first time. Kai glances back at the shop, then at me. But they've kept that old book smell. Not everywhere manages that anymore. We stand there talking about things that are slowly disappearing. The smell of printed paper, old buildings torn down for something newer, music without words, streets that still haven't gotten replacement signs for the old ones. Things people only miss after they're gone. Nobody checks the time. I don't know how long I've been talking. Only know that, for the first time in a long time, I haven't thought about my blueprints. He walks away first. I stand watching, 10 steps, 15 steps, his figure growing smaller among the crowd on the pavement. Then he turns back, walking faster now. Hand extended without hesitation, the movement of someone who has already decided, who doesn't need more time. Give me your number. In case we meet a third time, we won't have to pretend to be surprised. I look at his outstretched hand, then reach for my phone. What's your name? Kai, Ethan. We exchange numbers in a few seconds. Kai nods and walks away, this time without looking back, and I know he won't look back because this time he has what he came for. I look down at my phone. A new name in my contacts. One word. Kai. He texts first. I'm getting ready for bed when my phone lights up. A photo. A corner of the street I walk past every day, but shot from the opposite direction, from an angle I've never stood at. Yellow streetlight, pavement still wet from a light rain, an old bicycle leaning against the wall. Have you seen this spot before? I look at the photo for a moment. I know it, of course, but I've never seen it as beautiful as this. I have. I walk past it every day. But you've never looked at it from this side, have you? Not a question. I lie down, phone resting on my chest, keep typing. We talk until 1 in the morning. Nothing important. Nothing memorable on its own. Just one thing leading to another, the way conversation does when neither person wants to put down the phone. When I finally set it down, I notice the familiar emptiness I feel every evening. Tonight, it isn't there. I arrive 10 minutes early, choose a table, order water, open my phone for no reason and put it down, look toward the door. Kai arrives exactly on time. Looks around, sees me, walks in. We look at each other, then both look down at the menu at the same moment. Both order too quickly, the way you do when you don't know what to do with your hands. The first 15 minutes are slightly stiff. Not uncomfortable, just careful, the way you are when you're holding something for the first time and aren't sure how fragile it is. Then Kai asks about the old building project I'd mentioned in our messages, and suddenly everything loosens. Like a knot someone tied and then realized didn't need to be there. I sit for 2 hours without noticing the time pass. I think, strange, not because he's overwhelmingly extraordinary, but because being around him, I don't have to try. Halfway through a meal, I'm looking out the window for no reason, just looking. When I hear a click, I turn. Kai is holding an old film camera. Did you just take a picture of me? Yes, you could have asked. He doesn't apologize. Just sets the camera down and looks at me in a way that makes me unsure whether I'm complaining or waiting for him to say something more. I'll develop it and show you. 2 weeks later, I receive the photo. I'm looking out the window, streetlight reflected in the glass, eyes fixed on nothing in particular. Like someone waiting for something that hasn't arrived yet, or thinking about something that already passed before they could hold on to it. Do I look sad? I ask. No. You look like someone who hasn't gotten around to being happy yet. I hold the photo longer than necessary. I don't know what to say to that. Another evening, a small dinner at a familiar restaurant. Kai's phone rings. He glances at the screen for a second, turns it off, flips it face down on the table. Not going to answer, it's not important. The phone rings again. He doesn't look down this time. I look at the phone lying face down on the table and remember. Before he managed to silence it, the screen had lit up with a name for just a moment. One word, Owen. I don't ask. People have the right not to answer. The right to have names in their phone they don't need to explain. I return to the conversation, keep talking, laugh at the right moments. But that name, somehow, settles into a small corner of my mind and stays there. After dinner, neither of us wants to part. Nobody says so, we just both slow down the way you only do when you don't want an evening to end. We walk along the canal. No destination, no map, no reason other than the night being young and neither of us needing to be anywhere. Kai talks about trips he's taken. Tokyo in November, Da L letter 1 EA1T in the mist season, a village in Alexjiang he can't remember the name of, only the color of the sky at 4 in the morning and the cold that seeped into his bones in a way that was strangely not unpleasant. He talks about places he's been, about what he's photographed, about how light looks different in different parts of the world, as if every place has its own language and photography is how you learn to speak it. But he doesn't talk about home. Doesn't talk about who is waiting at home. I don't notice this at the time, I only think this person tells a story beautifully. Still walking, I talk about work, about the old building project, about the house I want to design for myself someday. Small, but with good natural light, a place for plants, a balcony facing a direction with fewer advertisement signs. Kai listens, not politely. He leans slightly forward as we walk, doesn't look away, eyes on my face even when we step through a darker stretch of path. The kind of listening that feels like memorizing, as if he's afraid there won't be another chance to hear this. I don't recognize it for what it is at the time. Only notice that, for the first time in a very long while, I'm talking without feeling like I'm filling silence with words. I'm talking because I want to. Simple as that. And somehow that simplicity feels startling, like something I forgot was possible. Come over for noodles? Not planned, not for any occasion, just a Tuesday evening when he's coming back from the market, and I happen to be walking past that road. Kai's apartment is small, more books than furniture. One wall completely covered in photographs, street corners, rooftops, light through doorways, a silhouette pressed against a white wall. All of it beautiful, and none of it with any people in it. I notice this but don't ask. We sit on the floor eating noodles, backs against the old sofa, a documentary playing that neither of us is actually watching. On my way out, standing at the door, I say, "Your place is beautiful." Kai looks around once, the look of someone who has never seen their own room that way. I've never thought so. I walk home thinking about that for a long time, not because it's a beautiful thing to say, but because it's honest in a way most people aren't. He hands me the old film camera, heavier than I expected, the metal cold in my palms. Try holding it. Aren't you afraid I'll break it? If I were afraid, I wouldn't hand it over. Kai stands behind me, explaining how to read light by hand, how to set the shutter speed. When he adjusts my hands to the correct angle, our fingers touch for a second. Neither of us mentions it. Life continues as if it didn't happen, but I know it happened, and so does he. I look through the viewfinder, press the shutter. A small click, the sound Kai calls. The sound of a moment being kept. I look through that small frame and for the first time understand what he means. The world through that little rectangle is clearer somehow, as if the frame forces you to choose what is actually worth looking at. Heavy rain, Kai unfolds a pillow onto the sofa. Sleep here. Nothing happens. I fall asleep without knowing when, between the rain outside and the sound of him still working by a small lamp. I wake to find Kai already standing on the balcony, phone in hand, eyes on the screen, shoulders slightly curved in the way of someone reading news they didn't want. Hand gripping the edge of the phone tightly, I lie still and watch. He hears me stir and turns around, a smile appears instantly. Too quickly? The kind of reflex someone has practiced so long it no longer looks like a reflex. You're up. Can you make noodles? I look at him, nod, don't ask anything. Go to the kitchen. When I come back, he has already put the phone away. In the middle of a workday, for no reason, I open my phone, no new messages. Put it down. Keep working. 10 minutes later, I open it again. Still nothing. Put it down. I look at the blueprint in front of me, clean lines, precise angles, technically correct in every way. But today, I've erased and redrawn the same line 3 times, not because it was wrong, but because I couldn't concentrate. Then I reach for my phone a 3rd time. I set it face down on the desk. Not looking anymore, trying not to look anymore. But I know what I've just confirmed, something I haven't yet allowed myself to name. The act of not looking at my phone while still knowing I'm waiting, that says more than any admission would. You're different? Alex looks at me across a coffee cup, not asking, just stating. I'm the same, you're not, you just smiled for no reason. I remember I'd looked at my phone and smiled because Kai had sent something that wasn't even funny, and I still smiled. Alex doesn't push. Just refills his coffee and sits there, patient the way someone is when they know the answer will come on its own if they don't chase it away. His name is Kai, a photographer we met by chance. He listens to everything. A pause, then asks one question. Has he told you anything about himself? His life outside of work, I think back. Kai asks more than he tells. When he does talk about himself, it's about places he's been, about the quality of light in different parts of the world, about what he sees through his viewfinder. Not about home, not about anyone waiting at home, not much. Alex nods, says nothing more, but his eyes say what his mouth chooses not to. I go to Kai's place without telling him, not knowing what I'm going to do when I get there. He opens the door, looks at me, steps aside. Come in. Doesn't ask why I'm here, doesn't say he's busy, just turns back inside and continues editing photos on his screen. Make yourself at home. I lie down on the floor. A small speaker is playing wordless music, the kind with no clear beginning or end, just flowing through like water. I look up at the ceiling. Beside me, the sound of Kai scrolling, clicking to adjust a photo, rain against the window. We don't speak for an hour. And this is the most peaceful afternoon I've had in a very long time, not because nothing is happening, but because for the first time I find silence beside another person isn't heavy. The silence is light, like being allowed to breathe normally without having to explain why I need to breathe. We're walking. Kai is mid-sentence about photographing at night without a flash, then I stop. He walks 2 steps further before turning back. What's wrong? I look at Kai, the pale yellow streetlight, his hair a little windswept, eyes on me and waiting. There's a sentence sitting right at the tip of my tongue. I know what it is, and I know that if I say it, everything will be different in the kind of way that cannot be undone. Nothing. Keep going. Kai looks at me for one more second, the look of someone who knows that isn't the real answer, then continues walking. I swallow the sentence back, not because I'm afraid, but because I'm not ready to know his answer. I'm about to leave, standing at the door putting on my shoes. Kai sees me out, leaning against the doorframe, watching, the look I've learned to recognize but not yet learned how to respond to. Shoes on, I stand up, turn and wave. I'll head off. He opens his mouth. I can see it clearly, a breath in, his jaw set, something about to be said, then he exhales. Be careful getting home. The door closes. I stand outside for a moment, not moving yet, just standing with the silence that has just been created behind that door. We both know be careful getting home. Isn't what he was going to say. We both know what the other sentence was, and we both chose not to say it, each for our own reasons. I'm in the middle of venting about work. A junior manager rewrote my blueprint in a direction I disagreed with, a client who changed their mind for the 4th time, a deadline pushed up by a week. Nothing significant. Just the slow accumulation of tiredness that comes from loving your work, but not always being allowed to do it the way you want. I finish and exhale. Kai listens to all of it in silence, then stands up and puts his arms around me without a word, no, it'll be fine, or just let it go. or any of the things people say when they don't know what to actually say, just holds me. I stand still. Don't know what to do with my hands, then finally place them on his back. The smell of his jacket, cold like the air before rain, and something else I can't name but will recognize instantly if I ever encounter it again. When he lets go, I stand in place for one more second. Not wanting to leave, not wanting anything to change. Just wanting this moment to be a little longer. I don't know when everything became routine, and I don't know when routine became something I needed. Kai waits outside my office, not every day, but often enough that I start looking toward that direction when I leave work. Eating bun on low plastic stools by the sidewalk, shoulders touching. Going to photo exhibitions, him explaining each frame in ways that make me see things I've walked past my whole life, but never truly noticed. Sitting in silence in cafes, reading side by side, no need for words. Everything looks like a normal, warm relationship. Except, Kai is never free on weekends. People are allowed to be busy on weekends. I tell myself this and I believe it because I want to believe it, and sometimes wanting to believe is enough. I dream about Kai, no specific content, just the two of us standing somewhere undefined, the light there soft in a way real light never is, and he's looking at me. Not a normal look. Looking the way you look at something you've decided is the only thing worth looking at in a given space, not because it's extraordinary, but because you've chosen to look at it and don't want to look away. I wake up at 5 in the morning. The room is dark, silent. I lie looking at the ceiling for a long time. Don't write anything down. Don't text Alex. Don't tell anyone. Just lie there with the feeling from the dream of being truly seen and try not to let it dissolve too quickly. We drink at my place. Kai gets drunk faster than usual, I notice, but say nothing. He lies down on the floor naturally, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. Looks up at the ceiling, quiet for a moment. Then, have you ever stayed with someone because you couldn't bear to leave? Not because you still loved them, not because you couldn't detach, just knowing that going or staying is both wrong, but you still have to choose one. I look at him. Who are you talking about? Kai has closed his eyes, breathing steady, asleep for real or pretending, I can't tell. The question hangs in the air of that night with no answer, no one to receive it. I sit beside him in the dark, thinking, not understanding, or maybe understanding a small part of it but not wanting to understand anymore. The next morning, Kai wakes up, sits up, drinks water, looks around with clear eyes as if last night didn't happen. We eat breakfast. Talk normally, a photo exhibition opening soon, an old street he just discovered. Neither of us mentions last night's question. I don't ask. But I know there is something lying in the middle of this room, not invisible, we can both see it, and we're both deliberately not looking at it. The kind of quiet that isn't from having nothing to say, but from having too much and no idea where to start. I'm walking past a bookshop, not planning to go in. But through the glass, I spot a book about Japanese Showa-era architecture. A title Kai mentioned once in passing without emphasis, in a story about buildings nobody photographs because they don't look impressive but somehow hold the spirit of their era. I go in and buy it. On the way home I stop, stand holding the book, wondering when I started remembering the things people mention once in passing. When I started buying books for someone without a reason or an occasion. I get home, set it on the table, look at it for a moment. Then text Kai, "Are you free this week?" I hand him the book. "I saw it in a shop. You used to mention Japanese architecture." Kai takes it, looks at the cover, flips through a few pages, doesn't say anything. I stand waiting, starting to wonder if I've done something strange, buying someone a book for no reason, the kind of thing you do for who exactly. He looks up at me. That expression, not happy, not sad, something between the two, like someone receiving a thing they know they shouldn't accept and reaching for it anyway. "Why did you buy this? You used to mention it." Kai nods slowly, sets the book down carefully as if it's more fragile than it looks. "Thank you, that's all." But the way his voice sounds saying it, I hear something inside it that isn't only gratitude for a book. An ordinary Friday, we text in the morning. He tells me about a roll of film being developed. I tell him about a blueprint nearly done. In the afternoon, I text asking about dinner. No reply, I wait. Text again in the evening, still nothing. I lie down and look at the ceiling, telling myself, people are allowed to be busy. Allowed not to reply. No one has to be available just because you want them. All of this is true, and because it's true, I can't sleep. Because sometimes the truth isn't enough to fill the silence that someone's absence creates. Day 2, still nothing. I send one more. Are you okay? No reply. I call, it rings. No one picks up, call again. Same, I put the phone down, sit at the drafting table, draw for 5 minutes, then look at the phone. Keep going. 10 minutes later, look again, still no message. I tell myself there are many reasons a person might disappear for a day or two: work, family, needing to be alone, not wanting to talk. All of it reasonable. All of it possibly true. But that night, lying in the dark, listening to the city sounds, I realized something I should have recognized sooner. I've grown so accustomed to this person's presence that their absence has become something I can hear, like the silence after music stops unexpectedly. Heavier than the music ever was. Alex calls to check in by chance, not knowing anything. I wasn't going to say anything, then I do. He listens to all of it. He's avoiding you, not necessarily. He could genuinely be busy. Do you believe that? I pause. Don't answer. That is the answer. Alex doesn't add, I told you so. Just asks, are you okay? I look out the window. I'm fine. Which is also not really an answer. Alex exhales gently. Call me if you need anything. Yeah, I hang up. I sit alone in my room with the silence that comes from Kai's phone. The silence I'm learning not to pay attention to, and the fact that I have to learn that says everything already. At the same time, Kai is sitting on a blue plastic chair in a hospital corridor. White fluorescent light, the smell of antiseptic, the sound of a trolley rolling past. In his hand is a paper cup of vending machine coffee, half drunk, cold for a long time now. His phone vibrates in his pocket. He doesn't reach for it, just sits looking at the closed hospital room door in front of him. Waiting, the way someone waits who has sat in this same spot so many times they know exactly which angle to lean it so their back doesn't hurt after 2 hours. Who knows which doctor's faces to recognize, which nurse passes by at which hour. This blue plastic chair has become more familiar to him than many other places in his life. The phone vibrates again. He still doesn't reach for it. Inside the room, someone is waiting for him to come in. And outside in the corridor, someone is waiting for him to reply. Kai sits between these two kinds of waiting, not fully belonging to either side, but knowing clearly which one he will choose. Day 4, he calls. I pick up immediately before it can ring a second time. Ethan. His voice is rougher than usual. Something came up with family. I'm sorry. A brief pause. Are you okay? The question backwards. He disappears for 3 days without a word and comes back asking if I'm okay, and I don't know whether to be angry or what to feel with that. I'm fine. I'm lying. Not the first time I've lied to him, but the first time I notice myself doing it while doing it. I'll explain later. You don't have to explain, people are allowed to be busy. A short silence. Are you angry? I look out the window, genuinely asking myself the question, am I angry? Not exactly angry, just something has shifted slightly inside, a small shift, but enough to feel, no. Again, I'm lying. We meet again. Same cafe, same table, same drinks, but not the same air. Kai looks out the window more than usual, picks up his cup and sets it back down without drinking. Answers my questions correctly, not wrong, not incomplete, but a half beat slower, like someone who is here while a part of them is somewhere else, and the part that's somewhere else is heavier. I look at his wrist, a faint red line, the pale mark of something worn and then removed. A hospital ID band. I know because I wore one once when visiting someone I loved. Kai pulls his sleeve down naturally by habit, the way you do something you've done so many times you no longer think about it. I look away. Don't ask. Continue the conversation. But that piece, it settles into its place beside the others I've been trying not to arrange. I'm walking past the road near Kai's place, about to text and ask if he's home, then I see it. Kai is standing outside his front door, not alone. A man in a wheelchair. He stands behind the chair, one hand resting on the handle, leaning down to say something, quietly, with the ease of someone who has done this many times and knows exactly how far to lean so the person can hear without straining. The man in the wheelchair looks up and smiles. The smile of someone trying to look healthier than they are. I recognize that kind of smile. I've seen it on someone I loved when they didn't want anyone to worry. I stand at the street corner. Don't walk closer. Don't walk away. Just stand there and look, not because I want to, but because my feet won't carry me anywhere. I stand until the door closes and both figures disappear inside. The street is still loud around me. Traffic, voices, the smell of exhaust and damp earth after the morning's rain. Everything ordinary. Only me standing in all that ordinary and finding everything slightly altered, as if someone has gently adjusted something in how I see the world. My phone vibrates. Kai texts, "Are you free tonight?" I read it 3 times. I type, "I'm busy tonight." Put the phone in my pocket. Start walking, not toward home, just walking, as if standing still in this moment means something will catch up. I lie in the dark and piece things together, not because I want to, but because my mind won't leave it alone. Kai is never free on weekends. The name Owen on his screen before he turned it off. The hospital band mark on his wrist, the sleeve pulled down by reflex. 3 days of silence. The question he asked when he was drunk, about staying with someone because you couldn't bear to leave, no single piece is clear enough on its own. But laid beside each other, they make a shape. Blurred but visible, I lie there, not angry. Just a part of me using everything it has to understand no further, because once I understand more, everything will change. And I am not ready for that. Alex calls at 10 at night. "Are you sitting down?" Alex, "Sit down." I sit. He tells me he found an old social media account for Kai, not much posted, but a photo from 4 years ago. Kai and another man, a blue sea. A real smile, the kind of smile I've never seen on Kai's face when he's in front of me. The caption, "6 years, still you?" I go silent. Alex waits. "Are you okay?" he asks, finally. I look down at my hands, the hands that held the book I bought for Kai, that I placed on his back when he held me. "I'll call you back." I hang up. Sit with the image that is becoming clearer and clearer inside my head. And the strange feeling of understanding that I've known this for a long time, only I never allowed myself to know it. Alex arrives without warning, knocks on the door, a bag of food in hand. I open it. He walks in without a word, sets the food on the table, pours water, hands it to me, sits across from me. "No, I told you so. No, you need to do something." Nothing, just sitting there, the one person I want beside me right now, and no need to explain why. I hold the glass of water. "I'm not certain, but you need to ask." Knowing you need to ask and being brave enough to ask are 2 very different things. I look at the glass. "Yeah, I need to ask." I text Kai, "Can you meet me?" He comes. We go to a familiar cafe, choose a corner table away from others. The kind of corner you choose when you know the conversation ahead isn't meant to be overheard. We order. The drinks sit on the table. Kai looks at me with the look of someone who knows something is coming. I look straight into his eyes. "The person you were with that day, the one in the wheelchair, who is he?" Kai goes silent. Not the silence of someone trying to remember or searching for words, but the silence of someone standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing what they will say, knowing that once they say it, everything will be different, and using these last seconds of before. Then he exhales. His name is Owen. We've been together for 6 years. Kai's voice is level, not shaking, not hurrying, like someone who has said this sentence to himself many times and has learned to say it without letting their voice break. He's been ill for 2 years. I sit and listen, don't interrupt. Kai doesn't look down, doesn't look away, holds my gaze the way someone does when they've decided not to run from being judged. "When were you going to tell me?" The question comes out lighter than I expected, no anger in it, just an honest question. Sometimes the honest questions come out lighter than all the ones you imagined yourself asking in moments like this. Kai is quiet, and the answer lives in that silence more clearly than any words could. "I don't know," he says it, and I can hear that it isn't an evasion. Not that I didn't know whether to tell you or not, I just didn't have a plan. I met you because I needed to breathe, that's all. I kept thinking, just one more time, just one more afternoon. And then I didn't know when it stopped being early enough to stop. I sit with each sentence, clear, not polished to be prettier than reality, not trying to appear better or worse than the truth, just the truth in its true shape, and because of that, it hurts more than any excuse would. You can be angry at a lie, you can argue with an excuse, but with a truth like this, the only thing you can do is sit with it and let it be as heavy as it actually is. I look at Kai. If he recovered, who would you choose? Kai looks down at his hands, then looks up and holds my gaze. That question has never existed inside my head, not because he doesn't want to answer, but because he has never allowed himself to step into the space where that question could be asked, has never imagined a future with me clearly enough to call it a choice. I nod slowly. I understand now. Not in the way of being able to accept it, but in the way of knowing where I stand in this story. And the place I stand is not the place I thought. I stand up, no slamming anything, no crying, no saying the kinds of things people say in moments like this, the ones that sound strong but are really just ways to fill silence when you don't know how to be silent. I put on my jacket. Look at Kai, this time longer than usual. Look carefully, as if trying to commit something to memory, even though some things get remembered without trying. Then I walk out. The cafe door doesn't slam. It just closes gently the way it always does. And perhaps that is the thing that hurts most. No scene, no words to carry forward as proof, just a door closing softly, and footsteps walking away. Kai's coffee on the table, cold now. He hasn't touched it since I started asking. The server comes. Can I get you anything else? Kai shakes his head, looks down at the cold coffee on the table, doesn't drink. Just looks, the way you look at something that isn't really what you're looking at. His phone vibrates. Owen is texting, asking what time he'll be home tonight. Kai types back, soon, sets the phone down, looks out the cafe window. Ethan left a long time ago. There's no trace of him on that street. And Kai sits a little longer, not because he doesn't want to go home, but because he needs a little more time to become the person who can walk into that hospital room and look at Owen without anything showing on his face. He's good at that. Very good. He just needs a little more time. The familiar streets, but tonight they look strange. I walk past the cafe where we first met, a rainy afternoon, a smile extinguishing itself, a stranger at the next table. Past the old bookshop, the pavement outside the door, a first conversation, neither of us wanting to leave first. Past the canal, a walk at night with no destination, his voice describing places he'd been without describing anyone waiting at home. Every place now carries two layers of meaning, the layer I lived through and the layer I have just understood. Those two layers cannot coexist without pain. Not the kind of pain that makes you want to cry. The heavy kind, like carrying something shapeless inside yourself and having to keep walking with it. I walk until I no longer recognize where I am. I get home, don't turn on the lights. I sit down in the middle of the room in complete darkness. Don't call Alex, don't open the laptop, don't do anything. Just sit, letting the dark be there and letting myself be in it. Outside, the street lights come on. Yellow light finds its way through the window, warm, familiar, the same as every evening, as if this night is no different. I look at that strip of light on the floor and sit with it until the dark outside begins to shift toward the pale of early morning. I don't know what I thought during that time, or if I thought anything at all, just sat there and let time move through without trying to hold it. When the light outside begins to change, I stand up, make coffee, open the laptop, keep going. Kai texts a few days later, something ordinary, an ordinary question. I reply. Shorter than before. Don't ask anything back. He doesn't push, doesn't send any more photos, doesn't suggest meeting. Just checks in and I reply, and the exchange stops there, neither of us pulling it forward. We are learning to make ourselves smaller inside each other's phones, from conversations that lasted until 1 in the morning to brief messages in the afternoon. From photos sent for no reason to polite check-ins that don't really require a response. No one says this is an ending. Because it doesn't have the shape of an ending, it's just a shrinking. Like a flame that isn't blown out, just slowly running out of fuel. Kai suggests coffee. I agree, not knowing why I still agree. We sit for an hour. Normal conversation work, whether a film he just watched. No mention of Owen, no mention of that conversation. So normal it's almost indistinguishable from before. Almost when we part, Kai says, "We'll catch up again." I nod. We both know that, again, has no date attached, no time agreed on, no plan, just the thing people say when they don't know how to say a real goodbye. A phrase that is neither a promise nor a farewell. Sitting somewhere between the two, like many things between us, from the start until now, I walk away without looking back. Alex suggests dinner. We talk about nothing in particular, mutual friends, plans for the weekend, a song he's been listening to. He doesn't ask about Kai, I don't bring it up. Not because there's nothing left to say, but because some things reach a point where they no longer need to be spoken. You just need someone to sit nearby without asking questions. At the end of the meal, Alex looks at me. You look more tired than before. The project's been demanding. Yeah. He doesn't believe that reason. I know he doesn't. And he knows I know. We leave it lying there, no more words needed, no more explanation. Sometimes friendship is the ability to sit together with the things that go unsaid and not feel them as a weight. I type, I want you to know that, delete. I don't blame you. I look at that sentence for a while, delete. Is he getting better? My finger rests on send, delete. Are you okay? Delete. What I want to say isn't any one of those sentences, or is all of them at once, and none of them is quite big enough to hold it all, not anger, not forgiveness, not a request for more explanation, just something that was never said and I don't know what to call it and maybe I never will. I lock the screen, set the phone down, lie looking at the ceiling in the dark. One evening I call Kai, not knowing what I'll say if he picks up, only knowing I need to press call. One ring, I hang up, I look at the screen, missed call, Ethan. Open my contacts, find his name, my thumb hovers over delete, delete. Then open again, search again, save again. Then delete once more. I put the phone down, lie down, look at the ceiling. With the name I have deleted and saved and deleted in my own contact list, and that loop with no end is the truest answer to the question I don't dare to ask directly. At the same time, Kai is on the familiar blue plastic chair. White fluorescent light, the footsteps of a nurse, the hospital smell he's grown so used to that he no longer notices it. His phone lights up. A missed call from a number with no name saved. Kai looks. He knows this number. He places a finger on the screen, doesn't call back, just looks until the screen goes dark. From inside the room, a nurse calls Owen's name. He stands up, puts the phone in his pocket, walks through the door. It closes behind him. And that nameless number, along with everything it represents, stays on the other side of that door. Always on the other side. It can never come in with him. Owen is lying in the bed. He looks up as Kai walks in and smiles, a real smile, not the kind that's trying to look healthy, the kind you have when you see the person you've been waiting to see. You look tired. Is something wrong? I'm fine. Kai pulls the chair up beside the bed. I'm okay. Owen looks at him the way someone looks who has known someone's face for more than a decade. A gaze that needs no explanation, cannot be hidden from, the kind of looking that only exists when two people have spent enough time together that pretending becomes impossible. Tell me the truth. Kai says nothing, then slowly lowers his head and rests his forehead on the back of Owen's hand on the blanket, gently, but the gentleness of someone setting down something heavy. Owen stays still. His hand, thinner than before, more bone than flesh, moves slowly and rests on the top of Kai's head. No more questions. The hospital room is white, silent, and this is the most complete answer Kai could ever give to any question I ever asked him. I tidy the apartment, nothing of Kai's to throw away because he never left anything behind. No jacket forgotten, no book left on the shelf, no key, no cup, nothing that could be called his. People don't leave things in places they've never truly stayed. He was here many times, on the floor, on the sofa, in the kitchen making noodles. But he never truly stayed, in the sense that I understand now. There is no drawer that was his, no corner of this room that holds his mark except the memories I am sitting with. I find the roll of film in a drawer. The roll from the day Kai taught me to take photographs, the day our fingers touched for a second and neither of us mentioned it. I have it developed. The photos come back, street corners, rooftops, light through doorways. The things he taught me to see, not how to take photos, but how to look, how to choose what is worth keeping, and one final frame, Kai adjusting the camera for me, looking down, unaware he's being photographed. Focused. not smiling. Not performing anything for anyone, just himself, in a moment when he had no need to be anything else. I look at that photo for a long time, then put it in the drawer, not thrown away, not left out on the desk. Somewhere I won't see it every day, but still there if I ever need it. Work continues. My manager gives me a new project. Colleagues congratulate me. I smile at the right moment, say the right things, just like at the beginning of this story. But that afternoon, sitting with the new blueprint, I feel genuinely excited. Actually, not performed, not the enthusiasm of someone trying to appear like they love their work. I don't know if this means I'm doing better, or if I've simply learned not to distinguish between the two. And maybe it doesn't matter, because whichever it is, the result looks the same, and it's starting to feel the same. I begin to draw. Alex asks, "Are you really okay?" I set down my chopsticks. Actually think before answering, not thinking to find the right phrasing, but thinking the way you do when you genuinely check inside yourself to see what's there. I'm okay. I just think I was wrong about a lot of things. Wrong about him? No, I shake my head. Wrong about where I stood. I kept thinking I was in a story. It turned out I was only a short passage in someone else's. Alex is quiet for a moment, and now I pick up my chopsticks. Now I'm living my own. I say it and then realize that's a sentence I couldn't have said before, not because I hadn't thought it, but because I didn't truly believe it yet. The same cafe from the beginning, the same table, or at least I think so. I don't actually remember exactly which table we sat at that day, only the light and the smell of coffee and the rain against the awning. I sit down, open my laptop, order something to drink. Start working a new blueprint, new lines, the shape of a building that hasn't yet taken form. The cafe door opens. Wind comes in, I don't look up. Keep drawing, the door closes. Outside the window, the city's street lamps begin to come on, one by one, in sequence, as if someone somewhere is counting. I glance out for a moment, yellow lights on the wet street, people passing, the city beginning its evening the way it always does. Then I look back at the blueprint. Keep going, this time not because I have to, because I want to. Someone once asked me, is it worth loving someone who doesn't fully belong to you? I don't know how to answer that. Because when I was in the middle of it, I didn't call it loving someone who doesn't fully belong to me. I just called it love, and love doesn't come with terms and conditions, no fine print at the bottom of the page. I only know that those afternoons were real. The click of the old film camera was real. The light silence of lying on the floor listening to music beside him was real. The photograph in the drawer, him looking down, unaware he was being photographed, just being himself, is still there, still real. What wasn't real was the position I thought I occupied. People call that being the third party. It sounds heavy, as if it's the worst possible thing to be. But sometimes the third person doesn't know they're the third person. Sometimes the third person is just someone in love at exactly the wrong time in exactly the wrong story, not his fault, not mine. Not the fault of the person lying in a white hospital room, fighting something I was never even supposed to know about. There are stories with no villain. Only people who are in the wrong place and who must learn on their own how to keep walking from there. I'm still learning, but I am walking. And the lights outside keep coming on, one by one, without anyone having to ask, without anyone having to wait. So, what about you? If one day you realize you love someone, truly love them, not mistaken, not imagined, but that person belongs to a story in which your name was never written, will you stay for one more afternoon? Or will you find the courage to leave, not because you've stopped loving them, but because you love enough to know that sometimes letting go is the only thing left you can do right? I don't have an answer for you. I only know that question, once asked, will never become easier to answer no matter how much time you're given. And perhaps that is exactly what it should be.